to the body. He's been throwing the straight right hand to the body as well.
A couple of Glen Johnson's punches string a little low, too.
Carl Froch with very long elbows. He's got the reach advantage, 75-inch reach for Carl Froch.
You know, just a reminder, Glen Johnson is 42 years of age, and he is in another war here. You got to give him a lot of credit for having the grit at that age to do this. Good hook by Johnson.
Right hand, big right hand by Johnson. Backs up Froch. Froch fighting off the ropes now. Carl Froch buying a little time. Did it hurt him?
Those body shots are very hard inside. This is the type of fight that I knew Glen Johnson could have.
Another right hand by Johnson. Froch coming back. Left hook, right hand, Froch. Now he's covering up his body. Left hook, double left hook by Johnson. Woo! The old man still has something in the tank.
Did somebody say fight of the year?
I think it was you. Might have been you.
Johnson, 8th round.
You can press this round in your memory book. It's a good one.
Carl Froch showing no ill effects as he lands a left hook and backs up. What a round, this 8th round. Double jab by Johnson.
Very, very tough round to score right now, Gus.
You got it. Did Glen Johnson punch himself out a little in all that?
Breathing out of his mouth now, Johnson. For the final 10 seconds, rolls the right hand. No knockdowns in this fight thus far, and that's the end of the round. Woo. And they got busy, folks, and the fans in Atlantic City very appreciative, many of them on their feet.
Glen Johnson had big moments in this round. Very good straight right. And there's the double left hook. The two weapons that we said he had to use. Now, Froch, meanwhile, landed lots of good counter punches as well. That's what made that a very close round. And as Antonio said, a tough one to score. Later on in the round, there's the distance between the two fighters. Glen Johnson could land those double left hooks because he was right there.
Yeah, but you credit to Froch. Every time Glen Johnson get off, he fires right back.
You're right.
He's not giving him any ground.
Champ, your thoughts as well.
No, I agree with Antonio 100%. I think Froch is doing just enough to stay ahead, and the key is he's answering when he gets hit. That's what you want to see in a champion.
Froch, slow off the stool. To start the 9th round, scheduled for 12. This is a Super 6 World Boxing Classic semifinal. Glen Johnson in white, Carl Froch in black. It's also for the WBC World Championship, Carl Froch's belt.
So far, Gus, it doesn't seem like the weight problem or issue is affecting Glen Johnson. But this is the type of fight, a hard fight like this. In these championship rounds, we're going to see, can he keep this pace up?
Let's take a look at the punch stats from the last round.
And you see how active both fighters were and how well Glen Johnson did edging out Froch in total number landed.
So far, Froch has controlled this particular round, and you know, we're a minute down already.
Right hand to the body, followed by a short left uppercut to the solar plex by Glen Johnson. Right hand again by Johnson. Froch, though, what a chin. What a chin by this tough Englishman.
Again, he answered back with combinations. You got to take your hat off to the champ. This is how we want to see a champion fight.
Carl Froch, warrior.
And when Johnson's on the inside now, he's not as active as he was in the last couple of rounds. See, he's in there, but he's not able to get those punches off.
Right hand missing by Johnson as Froch ties him up. Now Glen Johnson moving a little quicker with 1:04 remaining to go in the 9th round.
Glen having moments, but it's those accumulation of combinations that has Froch ahead in this round.
Yep, that's exactly right. Next to the word grit in the dictionary is the picture of these two men.
Yeah. They know it's at stake. This is a pass to the Super 6 final to face the champion that I'm sitting next to, Andre Ward. And this thing gets bigger, man.
Yeah. And Andre Ward's looking at this, a fight of attrition, Andre. You like this, don't you?
I like it a lot.
A lot of those punches blocked by Glen Johnson. But Carl Froch being active and busy. And that could affect how the judges see the round.
Most definitely. And I know Glen Johnson saying, I'm chopping at this tree. When will it fall?
Yeah.
Rachel Cordingley, the girlfriend and the mother of Carl Froch's son, Rocco.
Hey, Gus, I'm trying to figure out, where did they get the muzzle from?
You're looking for one shot, you got to stop looking for
We
one
haven't
shot.
heard it all
I
night.
told you, Glenn, if he fights a fight, you got to answer right back. All you did was you blew that round completely. Completely, you didn't do anything. All you did was follow around.
Still and throw the jab. That's the only time he ever hits you with the right hand. Just in and out, 3 shots, move, and then 3 shots again. As soon as you lean inside, I need you straight under there with them short body shots. Put it on his head. Put it under. Mate, listen to me. I want real sharp boxing. Carl is 42, he's really feeling it now. But he's going to look for that right hand, all right? 1, 2, 1, 2, make him miss and cancel. And any time you lean inside, you've got to beat him to it there. Come on, mate, I need you busy. Come on, deep breath, let's go. Come on, come on, come on.
What happens, Antonio, when you're older and you get to the later rounds of a fight?
I don't know.
250.
Shoot, you're only 31, aren't you? That's great. That's what I refer to as an Antonio Tarverism. Well, if history tells us something, Carl Froch is 6-1 in 12-round fights, and Glen Johnson is 5-7-1. So going the distance favors Carl Froch, obviously.
There's time in this fight that Carl Froch has everything going his way, and then he relaxes and he let Glen Johnson have a moment or two that really sparks him and energizes him. He got to stay on top of Glen Johnson.
And Andre Ward, I love the way Carl Froch lets his hands go, even though there may not be an opening when he does it.
But when you fight guys like Arthur Abraham, Glen Johnson, you got to create openings by punching. You can't wait because they're not going to give you anything. And you're right, he's doing the right thing. He's staying steady.
Beautiful right hand by Johnson, right on the button. That backs up Froch. Did it hurt him? No, Froch punches out of it, and he steps up. Carl Froch, folks, is a tough, tough man. He has taken some shots in this fight.
And part of this is Glen Johnson is not a one-punch knockout artist. And so even though he's a light heavyweight, a real light heavyweight, he hasn't been able to hurt Froch badly with that right hand.
Froch now smiling at Johnson. And Antonio, you told him that Glen Johnson was going to take him to places that he'd never been.
And what I meant by that was mentally. It's hard. If you never fought before, for a guy, it's hard enough as boxing already. But when you got a guy in your face coming and hitting you everywhere, man, that's defeating in itself. So Carl Froch is strong tonight physically as well as mentally.
Another right hand by Johnson, right on the chin of Froch. And if Glen Johnson was determined to take Carl Froch's places he had never been, so far, Al Bernstein, it looks like Carl Froch was willing to go.
He was, and he had the mental toughness, as Antonio said, to get past it. And more importantly, Carl Froch has thrown the combinations tonight, and Glen Johnson hasn't.
Yeah, we knew coming in, Glen Johnson is not a combination puncher. He was going to wear you down with the body, and again, that signature overhand right that he's had some success.
Beautiful jab by Froch that backed up Glen Johnson, also snapped his head.
we see from Glen, though, a lot of times is when he gets on the inside, he works very well. Hasn't been able to do that effectively through most of this fight.
And that's the end of the round. And that's Glen Johnson's wife. How many times has she been ringside for one of his wars? And we were talking about some of the fighters that Johnson has faced in his career.
Yeah, everybody from Antonio Tarver, Bernard Hopkins, just every name you can imagine. Now, in this last round, again, there's a right hand by Johnson. He's landed, I'm going to say, 8 or 9 of those that have been significant. But every time Froch does this, he comes back with a bunch of punches, and that is the reason why Froch has sustained in this fight and stayed ahead. And Froch came back to with some good combinations. Flurries that when he throws those combinations are very effective.
You need both these rounds, and you've got to be sharp. Come on, and he's looking for the right hand. Get on it, stop messing around.
Last minute instructions for Robert McCracken as Froch gets off the stool quickly. We enter the championship rounds. The 11th round, scheduled for 12 of the WBC World Super Middleweight title. That's 168 pounds. This is also the semifinal of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic. Carl Froch, the WBC champion, taking on Glen Johnson, a late ad in white. The winner to take on Andre Ward in the final.
You know, I have to believe that Glen Johnson felt coming into this fight, he was the bigger, stronger man, and that if he caught Froch with a couple of those right hands, that he would hurt him and maybe knock him down, maybe knock him out. But man, I think Glen Johnson's learned tonight that Carl Froch is a guy that's a proud champion, and that he's willing to go the distance and the limit to get the victory.
And I'm sure you saw Taylor knock him down with the right and said, I'm a bigger man. There's the number of combinations, and that says volumes because Carl Froch, with those combinations, has controlled this fight. Even though Glen Johnson has had some wonderful moments.
Left hook gets through. The last punch of a 4-punch combination. Right hand by Johnson. Froch walks through it.
That was the best punch of the night for Glen Johnson, and Carl Froch ate it.
Froch with some swelling under his right eye. Left hook Johnson. Wow. Up jab Froch. Glen Johnson more urgent now.
I'm going to say it again. I know Carl Froch is winning this fight, and he deserves huge credit. 42-year-old Glen Johnson still in there warring with this young man.
You know, Glen Johnson understands what's at stake.
Yeah.
He understands that, you know, if a loss here, he may never get an opportunity like this, Al. And that's why you see this guy laying it all on the line, and I commend him.
With all these 168-pound fights out there, he knows for him to get another one, he's got to do something impressive. Yeah, you're right, Antonio.
Lucien Boutte, Mikkel Kessler, Andre Ward, Carl Froch, Kelly Pavlik now moving up to 168 pounds. There are some very talented fighters in this division.
And you know, Arthur Abraham, despite his recent lack of success, is going to go back to Germany, have a big fight. He might want to do that with Glen Johnson.
And I also want to point out, guys, that, you know, Carl Froch told us about the type of conditioning he was in. I mean, you have to feel that this guy's in phenomenal shape tonight to be able to withstand this punishment.
And he just ate 2 more right hands from Johnson and kept coming forward.
And he's still there.
Wow. What an effort by both men.
What are you seeing, Andre Ward, with 10 seconds remaining in the 11th round?
I see a brutal battle. Both these guys are going to war. Carl Froch has got the, he's asserting his dominance, but this is a brutal fight.
Well, we'll see part of why the fans who have come here from across the pond very happy what their man is doing, but it has not been easy. Good left hook. This is this fight in microcosm with Johnson coming forward, Froch landing big punches, but then Johnson able to get in those right hands. Time Froch answers with these combinations on the inside. Lucien Boutte, the IBF super middleweight champ, who is waiting to meet somebody of note in the super middleweight division and certainly wants a shot perhaps at the winner.